What is it that separates the good from the truly great? In leadership, in relationships, in just about everything. Well, according to the amazing work of Daniel Goleman, a huge piece of that puzzle is something called emotional intelligence. So let's dive right in and figure this out.
But first, let me ask you something. Think about the last time you felt a really strong emotion. Maybe you were angry or super frustrated or even just over the moon happy. In that moment, who was really calling the shots? Was it you? Or was it the feeling itself? It's a really important question because our emotions can either be our superpower or our kryptonite. And this really shows the two sides of that coin perfectly. On the one hand, our emotions are basically just information. If you can accurately read how other people are feeling, you get this incredible sneak peek at what they might do next. But, on the flip side, if we let our own feelings just run the show, they can totally hijack our thinking and push us into making these impulsive, irrational decisions we really regret later.
And Goleman just nails it with this quote. The stakes here are incredibly high. We're not just talking about making a few bad choices. When we don't get a handle on our feelings, we can actually slide into some seriously destructive patterns. And this is exactly where emotional intelligence comes in. It's the key to managing that whole inner world. Okay, so what is this thing really? Let's decode emotional intelligence. You'll often hear it called EQ, and find out what it's all about and why it's so important. So at its core, this is what we're talking about. It's not about being emotional, and it's definitely not about being unemotional either. It's a very specific skill. It's the ability to see what you're feeling, see what others are feeling, and then use that awareness to guide what you think, what you do, and how you act.
A great way to think about it is that you kind of have two brains. You've got your emotional brain, that's the one that feels everything instantly. And then you have your rational brain, the one that thinks things through. Well, EQ is all about getting those two brains to have a conversation, to work together as a team, instead of one just shouting over the other.
So let's break this down into three core ideas. First, and this is huge, EQ is a skill. That means it can be learned, and you can get better at it. Second, its main job is to manage your feelings. It's like a gatekeeper that stops your emotional brain from just taking over and doing something reckless. And third, it's a partnership. It all depends on that constant back and forth between your reason and your emotion. All right, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at how building your EQ can genuinely change your day-to-day life.
And the payoffs are real and they are everywhere. A higher EQ is actually linked to better physical health because managing stress is good for your body. It's an absolute game changer for leadership. You can't lead people effectively if you can't connect with them. And in your personal life, it deepens your relationships because you're showing up with genuine interest and empathy. So how do we actually start building this skill? Well, here are 4 pretty simple habits. First, work on creating positive thinking patterns. Second, reframe failure. For yourself, for your kids, see it as a chance to learn, not a dead end. Third, practice being genuinely curious about other people. Just listen. And finally, and this one is so powerful, when things get heated, know when to take a breath and step away. That pause, that is EQ in action. Honestly, if you only take one single thing away from all of this, let it be this. In our interactions with pretty much everyone, real emotional intelligence almost always comes down to this simple order of operations. Before you react, before you give advice, before you jump in to defend yourself, just listen.
And this is taking that listening to a whole new level. We're talking about empathy. It's not just about hearing the words someone is saying. It's about trying to genuinely understand their emotional world. It's about trying to step inside their shoes, even for just a second, and see things from their side.
Want a weird but really effective way to practice this? Try this little exercise. The next time you're talking to someone, subtly mirror some of their nonverbal cues, their posture or their tone of voice. Now, you're not trying to mock them, it's just a way to help your own brain tune into their emotional frequency and build that connection.
Okay, let's wrap things up by talking about what it means to master your emotional world, because it's so important to remember that EQ isn't some finish line you cross. It's more like a skill you practice for the rest of your life.
And here is the most crucial point of all. So many people get this wrong. Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing your feelings or pretending you don't have them. It's about understanding them. It's about learning from them so that they end up serving you instead of controlling you.
So if there is one big idea to walk away with, it is this.
Emotional intelligence is not something you're just born with. It is a skill. It's a skill that helps your health, your relationships, your career, and just like any other skill, is something you can learn and get better at with practice. So, I'll leave you with a little challenge for the week ahead. Think about the conversations you know you're going to have, maybe with someone at work, your partner, a friend. What's one of those conversations that you could totally change just by deciding to lead with empathy, by choosing to listen first?